presentation. I am very much happy to welcome the resource persons and the illustrious alumni of our department, Dr. AYYACHAMY Daniel, Dr. LAXMANAN, Mr. SOORAVAN on this nice occasion. It's my pleasure to welcome the organizing secretary, Dr. R. Ramakrishnan, who is going to organize this webinar in a successful manner. I wholeheartedly welcome all our members of the faculty. Finally, I welcome all the participants of this webinar for having given an overwhelming response. Before I conclude the welcome address, I would like to inform that this webinar will be an impressive and a thought-provoking one. Definitely, the speakers put informative insights into you. I hope the participants will maintain the decorum throughout the webinar. With this, once again, I welcome you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, the presentation session begins. First speaker, Dr. B. AYYACHAMY Daniel. He is the senior scientist, secretary, chair, IUCN and SSC, staff in the SSC, South Asian Invertebrate Specialist, Zoo Outreach Organization, Coimbatore. He is going to give a valuable lecture on the invertebrate spider fauna. Dr. AYYACHAMY Daniel sir is introduced by Dr. V. Mariappan, Assistant Professor of Zoology, Aditanar College. Now, Dr. Mariappan sir will introduce the guest speaker, Dr. AYYACHAMY Daniel.
Good morning to all. So I am Dr. V. Mariappan. I am very happy to introduce our first speaker, Dr. AYYACHAMY Daniel. Sir is working as a senior scientist entomology branch, Zoo Outreach, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, India. Sir has completed PhD in Zoology, University of Kerala, Tiruchendur. Sir has acted as a various committee members, like a life member in the Entama, life member in Hexapoda, member in International Zoo Educator Association, member in Zoology Society of London, member of BRACE. Under his headship, so far, project has completed 8 numbers, and in the SAR guided nearly about 150 projects under the various activities related to zoology. And so far, SAR organized 85 national and international level seminars, symposiums, and workshop nearly about 65. Regarding the butterfly work, SAR has visited so many countries like Hong Kong, London, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, New York, USA, Malaysia, Singapore, etc. And SAR has written nearly 5 books related to animals. And SAR has written chapters 4 in the well-known written books. And SAR has written 75 articles in various reputed journals. So that SAR is a well-known and enriched knowledge with zoology. So we are very happy to introduce the Dr. AYYACHAMY Daniel on behalf of the zoology department. Thank you. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you, Dr. Mariappan sir. Now the presentation session begins. Now I call upon Dr. B. AYYACHAMY Daniel sir, who is going to deliver a very valuable and thought-provoking lecture on invertebrate spider fauna. Now the session is Dr. AYYACHAMY Daniel.
Thank you, Dr. Ramakrishnan and Dr. Mariappan for introducing me. So let me share my screen. Sorry, I have some trouble in sharing my screen. Dr. Balaji, can you help me? Should I share window?
தம்பி வெங்கடேஷ்,
I'm not able to. I'm not
பாலாஜி
able-
பாலாஜிட்ட சொல்லுங்க, பாலாஜிட்ட இன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணுங்க. ப்ளீஸ் இன்ஃபார்ம் டு பாலாஜி.
for inviting me to just give this talk. And this is going to be my own experience, and I'm going to share whatever I did with regard to the conservation of the Theraphosid spiders. So the title says the status assessment and conservation of Theraphosid spiders. So it has three major topics in this. One is status assessment. The second thing is conservation, and third one for inviting me to just give this talk. Theraphosid is going to be my own experience, and I'm going to share whatever I did with regard to the conservation of the Theraphosid spider. I'm sorry, so the title says status assessment and conservation of Theraphosid spiders. So it has three major topics in this. One is status assessment. The second thing is conservation, and third one for inviting me to just give this talk. Theraphosid is going to be my own experience, and I'm going to share whatever I did with regard to the conservation of the Theraphosid spider. I'm sorry, so the title says status assessment and conservation of Theraphosid spiders. So it has three major topics in this. One is status assessment. The second thing is conservation, and third one for inviting me to just give this talk. Theraphosid is going to be my own experience, and I'm going to share whatever I did with regard to the conservation of the Theraphosid spider. I'm sorry, so the title says status assessment and conservation of Theraphosid spiders. So it has three major topics in this. One is status assessment. The second thing is conservation, and third one for inviting me to just give this talk. Theraphosid is going to be my own experience, and I'm going to share whatever I did with regard to the conservation of the Theraphosid spider. I'm sorry, so the title says status assessment and conservation of Theraphosid spiders. So it has three major topics in this. One is status assessment. The second thing is conservation, and third one for inviting me to just give this talk. Theraphosid is going to be my own experience, and I'm going to share whatever I did with regard to the conservation of the Theraphosid spider. I'm sorry, so the title says status assessment and conservation of Theraphosid spiders. So it has three major topics in this. One is status assessment. The second one is conservation, and third one for inviting me to just give this talk. Theraphosid is going to be my own experience, and I'm going to share whatever I did with regard to conservation of Theraphosid spiders. It has three major topics in this. One is status assessment. Second one is conservation, and third one for inviting me to just give this talk. Theraphosid is going to be going to share whatever I did with regard to Yes. Hello. Hello. Yeah.
It is echoing, sir.
Ama. Oh, it was silent. Okay, right. Right. I'm sorry about this. Now let me start the presentation once again. I'm sorry about this problem that we had. Can you see now?
Slides, sir.
Right. Come on. Yeah, I find it difficult to show now. So anyhow, I'll try it one day.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Wait. Yes, right. But now I'm not able to show anything. Able to just see most of them visuals, but I mean, hope you can understand what I say. There are three. The topic is status assessment and conservation of Theraphosid spiders. There are three things in this title. One is status assessment. The second one is conservation, and third one is Theraphosid spiders. Let us try and understand what is Theraphosid. Probably you might have seen the movie called Tarantula. They are huge spiders, hairy spiders, to the size of the palm, your palm, right? So they are very huge. They are nocturnal spiders. People say that they are deadly poisonous, but it is not deadly poisonous. They are poisonous. They are poisonous to the extent of killing small birds, like hummingbird or a lizard, a gecko or lizard or so, or a small snake. So they are the food species of these spiders. That's why they can easily kill them. So now the question is, there are so many species that we have in this in India. There are about 11 species that we have, and then in South India there are about 5 species. We are why we are concerned about this Poecilotheria? They come under the genus Poecilotheria. Why we are concerned about Poecilotheria or Theraphosids? We are concerned because they are highly on trade, and then they're highly prized also. People from outside India, they visit, they come and collect it and take it with them to keep it as pets. Just like how we keep dogs, how we keep cats, they keep these spiders as pets. So if you go to an European or American market and try to pay some money and just buy a specimen of this spider, probably you may have to spend 35 to 50,000 rupees. That's a huge money. $600. That's a huge money. And also, we don't want to, want people to just take our gene to some other place. So what do they do with this? They breed it. They sell it on a higher price. People also say that some scientists use the venom to do some research work that is used in heart problems to solve the problems of the heart and lung. So these are some of the uses of the Theraphosid. That's why they are just using it. Now, so as I told you, they are nocturnal, and then they are arboreal too. Arboreal means they live in the trees, on the trees itself. Arboreal, apna marathila vaadakuriya oru chelandi. உங்களை எத்தனை பேர் பார்த்திருப்பீங்க நான் கெஸ் பண்ணேன்னா probably very few might have seen this. Maybe ஒரு 100ல வந்து ஒரு 2 பேர் வேணா பார்த்திருப்பீங்க. That if you are very familiar with the habitat of where the spiders live, these particular spiders live. I'm sorry you are not able to see it. They are very huge and very beautiful also. And then that's why you are not able to see, because they are nocturnal, right? So that's why you are not able to see them. So they live mainly on crevices, like an area like this. This crevice is like this. Okay, they can just live inside. Hope you can just see me. Are you able to see me?
Yes, sir.
Can you able to see me at least? Can you put my camera? Zoology, can you pin my camera? Right. Okay. Let me continue that. Okay. So we have 9 species, and similar, the same species is found in Sri Lanka also. Now, the species are highly threatened. Species that I can just tell is wood eater or Poecilotheria metallica. They are beautiful spiders, bluish, greenish spider, huge in color, with mostly found in the Eastern Ghats. We have these Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats in the southern region or peninsular India, and then this Guti ornamental is found in the Eastern Ghats only. They are endemic to the Eastern Ghats. We have a story behind it. This was described in 1890 by a person called Pocock during the colonial period. Pocock is the person who wrote the book on the spiders of India, and then he described it. And then after that, absolutely there was no information available about these spiders, right? So what happened? More than 100 years happened. In 2002, we wanted to just work on the conservation of the spiders, because we wanted to include this spider under Indian Wildlife Protection Act and also under the CITES as well. But we're not able to do it because there is no information about the species. So we did some survey. We sent some questionnaires to the people who worked on work generally on spiders, arachnida, and then very few people reported back to us. So there was absolutely no information. So we thought it's better we do a taxonomy workshop for the people who are interested in spiders and encourage them to just take up a research work on tarantula species. So that's how we started working on these spiders. So we did hands-on training and capacity workshop for about some 40 people, and with the support of the Zoological Survey of London and also Zoological Society of India, so and few other organizations like CITES. And so after that, we developed a lot of taxonomists, started working on it. We also went inside in the habitats where these Poecilotheria were found about some 100 years ago. We are so lucky to just locate one individual. The spider that you are seeing now, I don't think you are seeing now, but the one you have in the PowerPoint is the one that we just took in the year 2000, right? So we just managed to found it with great difficulty. We literally had to just walk kilometers and kilometers to just locate this spider. So, and then it's very important we understand the life history, we understand the distributional pattern of the species, we understand the threats affecting on the species and all the other factors that influence the spiders to become extinct. So only if you have all this information, you can try and understand the status of the species in the wild. When we say status அப்படின்னா என்னன்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, ஒரு ஸ்பீஷீஸ் அதனுடைய இருப்பிடத்தில் வாழ்விடத்தில் எவ்வாறு இருக்கிறது. அது எப்படி நம்ம டைகரை endangered species அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம், critically endangered species அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம். ஒரு ஸ்பீஷீஸ் endangered vulnerable species சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, அதை எப்படி நம்ம தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறோம்னா அதனுடைய இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் எல்லாம் உள்ள போட்டு IUCNல கேட்டகரிஸ் கிரைட்டீரியாஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்குது IUCNல. அதை வச்சு நம்ம finally we come to a conclusion that this particular species is critically endangered, this particular species is endangered or vulnerable or near threatened or very safe, not near threatened அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு data deficient அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு ஸ்டேட்டஸ்க்குள்ள நம்ம வர்றோம், ரைட்டா? ஸோ அதை நம்ம தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறதுக்கு நிறைய டேட்டா வேணும். So that's what we did. We went to different places wherever the spider were once reported. We also, tried and explored to some of the places where these spiders were supposed to be present. And then we finally made a list of locations with latron ellam pannittu. Finally, we using the IUCN categories and criteria, we assess the species. It's not that easy to collect the information. First, we need to understand, we need to just get the support of the people. So we need to just go and talk to them, the people who live in the area where the spider is present. So அது ரொம்ப பிரைமரியா அது நமக்கு வேணும். ரெண்டாவது we need also some financial support and then trained experts to carry out such a work. So we managed to just meet all these things and try to generate the species information. So all these spiders need conservation attention. ஏன்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, இந்த ஸ்பைடர்ஸ் கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா அழிஞ்சிட்டு வருது, அதனுடைய ஹேபிட்டட் அழிஞ்சிட்டு வருது, அதனுடைய பாப்புலேஷன் சைஸ் குறைஞ்சிட்டு வருது. That's why we need to conserve all these species, right? So now let's try and understand the evolution of the species. We all know extinction is a natural process, right? நம்ம எல்லாத்துக்குமே தெரியும். எக்ஸ்டிங்ஷன் அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கு பூண்டோடு அற்றுப்போதல். இது எனக்கு டாக்டர் தங்கமணி சார் இந்த பூண்டோடு அற்றுப்போகுதல் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு வார்த்தை எங்களுக்கு நான் பிஎஸ்சி நமது ஐயனார் ஜாமியல் காலேஜ்ல படிக்கும் போது எனக்கு சொல்லி கொடுத்தாங்க. எக்ஸ்டிங்ஷன் அப்படிங்கிறது இட்ஸ் a natural process. It should happen. We should allow it to happen also. But what is the problem with the present rate of extinction is the question. இப்போ நடக்கிற அந்த எக்ஸ்டிங்ஷன், பூண்டோடு அற்று போகின்ற அந்த தன்மை எவ்வாறு இருக்கிறது அப்படிங்கிறதா இப்போ கேள்வி. அது எப்படி இருக்குன்னா, the present rate of extinction is accelerated many times, mainly because of human activity. ஒரு நம்முடைய மனித சமுதாயத்தினால இந்த ஜீவிகள் அழிந்து போகும் அந்த நிலையானது பல நிலைகளில் உந்தப்பட்டிருக்கிறது அப்படிங்கிறத நம்ம சொல்ல வேண்டியிருக்கிறது. எப்படி என்ன அதுக்கு ஒரு கால்குலேஷன் இருக்கு. 1000 times and 10,000 times more than the natural rate of extinction. அந்த மாதிரி போயிட்டு இருக்குது அப்படிங்கிறதா உண்மை. So that's why it's very important that many species need conservation attention. நிறைய ஸ்பீஷீஸ்க்கு conservation attention தேவைப்படுகிறது. இப்போ இந்த கன்சர்வேஷன் எல்லாம் யார் பண்றா? உலக அளவுல யாராவது ஒரு ஆள் கோஆர்டினேட் பண்ணணும் இல்லையா? நம்ம திங்க் குளோபலி அண்ட் ஆக்ட் லோக்கலி அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு கான்செப்ட்ல நம்ம வந்துட்டோம். அப்போ வந்துட்டோம்னா திங்க் குளோபலி அப்படிங்கறது யாரு பண்றான்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா IUCN அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு பாடி இருக்கு. IUCN கீழே நிறைய கமிஷன்ஸ் இருக்கு, கிட்டத்தட்ட 6 கமிஷன்ஸ் இருக்கு. அதுல ஒரு கமிஷன் அப்படிங்கறது ஸ்பீஷீஸ் சர்வைவல் கமிஷன் அப்படின்னு பேர். அந்த ஸ்பீஷீஸ் சர்வைவல் கமிஷன்ல ஷார்ட் ஃபார்ம்ல SSC அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்றோம். SSC கீழே நிறைய ஸ்பெஷலிஸ்ட் குரூப்ஸ் இருக்கு. Probably you may be knowing that elephant specialist group, rhino specialist group, flamingo specialist group அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க இல்லையா? அதே மாதிரி ஸ்பைடர் ஸ்பெஷலிஸ்ட் குரூப் அப்படிங்கிறது கூட ஒண்ணு இருக்குது. இப்போ சில நேரங்கள்ல என்ன பண்றாங்கன்னா, இந்த ஒரு ஸ்பீஷீஸ் ரிலேட்டடா ஒரு குரூப் இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதை வந்து ஸ்பீஷீஸ் ஸ்பெஷலிஸ்ட் குரூப் அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம். ஒரு ரீஜன்ல இருந்துச்சுன்னா ரீஜனல் ஸ்பெஷலிஸ்ட் குரூப் அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம். இப்போ இந்தியா அண்ட் ரெஸ்ட் ஆஃப் த சவுத் ஏஷியன் கண்ட்ரிஸ் எல்லாம் கவர் பண்ணி சவுத் ஏஷியன் இன்வெர்டபிரேட் ஸ்பெஷலிஸ்ட் குரூப்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு ஸ்பெஷலிஸ்ட் குரூப் இருக்கு. அது வந்து எங்க இருக்குன்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா கோயம்புத்தூர்ல தான் இருக்குது. அதுக்கு எங்க ஆபீஸ்ல தான் இருக்கு. ஐ எம் தி சேர் ஆஃப் தி சவுத் ஏஷியன் இன்வெர்டபிரேட் ஸ்பெஷலிஸ்ட் குரூப். இவங்க எல்லாம் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, they in collaboration with the species survival commission சேர்ந்துட்டு அவங்க என்ன பண்றாங்கன்னா, இந்த என்னென்ன ஸ்பீஷீஸ் ரிக்வயர் கன்சர்வேஷன் அட்டென்ஷன் அப்படிங்கிறத தெரிஞ்சுட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் அதுக்கு என்ன ஆக்ஷன் வேணும் அப்படிங்கிறத பண்றாங்க. ஏன் இந்த கன்சர்வேஷன் நம்ம எப்படி பண்ண வேணும் அப்படின்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, by slowing down the global extinction rate. நான் அப்ப சொன்னேன் இல்லையா, ஒரு எக்ஸ்டிங்ஷன் ரேட்டை ஆக்சலரேட் பண்ணியிருக்கிறோம் அப்படின்னு நான் சொன்னோம் இல்லையா, அந்த ஆக்சிலரேட்டட் ரேட்டை வந்து ஸ்லோ டவுன் பண்ணும். ரைட்? அப்படி ஸ்லோ டவுன் பண்ணும்போது நம்ம என்ன செய்யறோம் கேட்டீங்கன்னா, the extinction அப்படி நம்ம என்ன குறைக்கிறோம். ரைட்? we just slow down the rate of the extinction so that the species can survive. so இந்த மாதிரி ஸ்லோ டவுன் பண்றதுக்கு நம்ம என்ன செய்யணும்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, we need to identify and document those species most in need of conservation attention. ஓகே, அது நமக்கு டெஃபினட்டா வேணும். என்னென்ன ஸ்பீஷீஸ்லாம் கன்சர்வேஷன் அட்டென்ஷன் இருக்குது, தேவைப்படுகிறது அப்படிங்கிறத நம்ம கண்டுபிடிச்சு அதுக்கு நம்ம என்ன பண்ணணும்னு கேட்டா அதுக்கு ஆக்ஷன் எடுக்கணும். அதுதான் வந்து இந்த SSCல உள்ள இந்த ஸ்பெஷலிஸ்ட் குரூப்லாம் பண்றாங்க. அதைத்தான் நம்ம என்ன செய்யணும், ரெட் லிஸ்ட் டாக்குமெண்டேஷன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நம்ம சொல்லிக்கிட்டு இருந்தோம். அதுக்கு நிறைய கேம்ப் அசஸ்மெண்ட் அப்படின்லாம் கூட சொல்லுவாங்க. இதுக்கு என்னென்ன இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் நமக்கு தேவை அப்படின்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, முதல்ல வந்து டாக்ஸானமி ஆஃப் த ஸ்பீஷீஸ் நமக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும். ஒரு ஸ்பீஷீஸ்னுடைய எப்படி நம்முடைய பேர், கரெக்டான பேர் நம்ம இருந்தாதான் ஒரு இடத்துல ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணப்படுகிறோம் இல்லையா? இப்ப டாக்டர் ராமகிருஷ்ணன் இருக்கிறாங்க. அப்ப உங்க காலேஜ்ல வந்து டாக்டர் ராமகிருஷ்ணன் அப்படின்னு சொன்ன உடனே எல்லாருக்குமே ஈஸியா தெரியும், ஓகே ஜுவாலஜி ஹெட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிடுவாங்க. அதே மாதிரி நம்ம ஒரு ஸ்பீஷீஸுக்கு பொசிலோதீரியா மிராண்டா, எலிஃபஸ் மேக்சிமஸ் அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்லும் போது இமீடியட்டா நம்ம அந்த ஸ்பீஷீஸை நம்ம ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணிடுவோம் இல்லையா? அதனால ஒரு ஸ்பீஷீஸ்னுடைய ஸ்டேட்டஸ் அசஸ்மெண்ட் பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி நமக்கு பிரைமரியா என்ன வேணும் அப்படின்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, அதனுடைய டாக்ஸானமி கிளியரா இருக்கும். ரைட்? ஒரே பேர்ல 5 பேர் இருந்தாங்கன்னா எவ்வளவு காம்ப்ளிகேஷன் வரும். அதே மாதிரி ஒரே ஸ்பீஷீஸ்க்கு மோர் தென் 1 நேம் இருந்துச்சுன்னா, சினானிம்ஸ் இருந்துச்சுன்னா எவ்வளவு காம்ப்ளிகேஷன்ஸ் வரும். ஸோ இந்த காம்ப்ளிகேஷன்ஸ்லாம் இல்லாத ஒரு செக்லிஸ்ட் நம்ம கையில இருந்துச்சுன்னா பண்ணலாம். ரெண்டாவது நமக்கு என்ன வேணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி கேட்டீங்கன்னா, அதுல இந்த ஸ்பீஷீஸ் எங்கெங்கெல்லாம் டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட் ஆயிருக்குது அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு இன்ஃபர்மேஷன். இந்தியால இருக்குது, ஸ்ரீலங்கால இருக்குது, நேபாள்ல இருக்குது, பங்களாதேஷ்ல இருக்கு, பூட்டான்ல இருக்கு அப்படின்லாம் நமக்கு தெரிஞ்சிச்சுன்னா, அந்தந்த கண்ட்ரியில எந்தெந்த எக்ஸாக்ட் லொகேஷன்ல இந்த ஸ்பீஷீஸ்லாம் டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட் ஆயிருக்குது அப்படிங்கிற இன்ஃபர்மேஷனா நமக்கு தெரிஞ்சிச்சுன்னா, probably we can just very easily able to identify it. Okay, so we can use the மூணாவது நமக்கு தேவையான என்னன்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, இந்த மேப் எங்க இந்த லொகேஷன்ஸ்லாம் நமக்கு வேணும். அதை வச்சு நம்ம மேப் போட முடியும். நாலாவது நமக்கு என்னன்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, அது எந்த வகையான வாழிடத்தில் இருக்கிறது, ஹேபிட்டட் ப்ரிஃபரன்ஸ் அப்படிங்கிறது நமக்கு தெரியணும். அஞ்சாவது என்னன்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, அதனுடைய த்ரெட்ஸ்னா அச்சுறுத்தல். தமிழ்ல நம்ம அச்சுறுத்தல் சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, அதுக்கு என்னென்ன த்ரெட்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்குது அப்படிங்கிறது நமக்கு தெரியணும். மூணாவது, இது ட்ரேட்ல இருக்குதா, இல்லாட்டி ஹார்வெஸ்ட் பண்றாங்களா, நிறைய பிடிக்கிறாங்களா, இல்லாட்டி போச்சிங் இருக்குதா போன்ற இன்ஃபர்மேஷன்லாம் நமக்கு தெரிஞ்சிச்சுன்னா நமக்கு ஈஸியா அந்த ரெட் லிஸ்ட் அசஸ்மெண்ட்லாம் நம்ம பண்ணிடலாம். ஸோ ஒரு ஸ்பீஷீஸ் அசஸ்மெண்ட் பண்ணணும்னா இந்த இன்ஃபர்மேஷன்லாம் நமக்கு வேணும். ஆரம்பத்துல நாங்க இந்த ஸ்பீஷீஸ் அசஸ்மெண்ட் பண்றதுக்காக நாங்க when we started to just work on it, we found that absolutely no information was available. We hardly had some information about the species name, common name, and 1 or 2 locations. With that, probably it is very, very difficult to just, assess the species. It will go under data deficient. Data deficient, if we happen to just go there, probably we are not going to get more information. We may not be able to take any action to preserve this species. அதனால we started working on species information generation. அதுக்கு நிறைய ரிசர்ச் பண்ணோம். அந்த என்டையர் பொசிலோதீரியா குரூப்ல இருக்கிற எல்லா ஸ்பீஷிஸ் குரூப்புக்கும் we started just working on the hello எப்படி comments. I will continue to do it in English because I understand many people are just listening to it. So we need to have all the species information with regard to if you really want to do an assessment of the species. So who is helping us to do the species assessment? The IUCN is really helping us. They have IUCN categories, and under the categories there are about some 9 categories are there. The first one is extinct, second one is extinct in the wild, and the next 3 categories are the threatened categories. That is critically endangered, endangered, and vulnerable. And the next one is near threatened, and the least concerned, data deficient, and not evaluated. So these are the IUCN categories where a particular species will just go and fit in. The species that I just now spoke about, the Poecilotheria metallica, come under critically endangered species, right? So they fall under the critically endangered species. They are because it has a very, very highly restricted distribution within an area of 100 square kilometer, and the population is declining because the habitat is also it's vanishing, it's disappearing. That's why they come under the critically endangered species. So if you want to, I'm sorry you're not able to, I had so many plans to use my screen, but it's not working, but still I will tell you. So if you go to www.iucnredlist.org, if you can just type in and then just go to the website, that will help you to understand. Once again, I tell you, www.iucnredlist.org. IUCNredlist.org. If you go to it, you will find a search column on the top. All you have to do is type in the species name. Just type Poecilotheria or whichever species that you want to know the species information. So type in Poecilotheria. All the Poecilotheria species that are assessed by the IUCN will be listed. So depending on the interest, you can click on the species of your interest. I am interested in a species called Poecilotheria hanumavilasamika. So if you just click it, you will get all the species information. Onto the right side of the screen, you will find documents. If you click the document, you will find download species data. So if you download it, the entire species information will be there. In the first page, you will see the scientific name, genus and species, and the common name, and then you will also get to know the people who are involved in the assessment. We assessed near about 9 species of the Poecilotheria, and then I am talking about a species called Poecilotheria hanumavilasamika, which is found only in the Rameswaram Island. You might have visited Rameswaram Island. How many of you know that Rameswaram is holding an endemic Poecilotheria spider in the island? The island is roughly around 76 square kilometer, which is more of sandy shore, and then it has few tamarind trees and palm trees as well, and certain Prosopis is also there. These spiders harbor in the very old tamarind trees. Tamarind trees are more than 400 years old, the trees that. If you just go and look for it after 7 o'clock, you can just see these spiders coming out very slowly, wait outside the bark and stem of the trees, waiting for its food species to come out. It'll just go and prey on it, right? So this population is just coming down. How? People are clearing all the trees. People are felling the trees. People who live there are just, removing the native trees and converting into commercial places. Buildings are constructed. In the name of, pilgrim, people just come and occupy and remove all the trees that harbors this particular spider. This is called Poecilotheria hanumavilasamica. This species was very recently described in the year 2004 by a person called Andrew Smith, and then he is one of the person who was associated with our studies also earlier stage. So if you are interested to know more about Poecilotheria hanumavilasamica, type in Poecilotheria hanumavilasamica, you will get to know about all these species. So I really wanted to just show you all the PDFs associated with it, but unfortunately the screen is not showing, I'm not doing it. So it's all about the spiders. Now let's come to the other species groups as well. I have a question for you. My question is, how many species exist on the earth? Can anybody reply to this? How many species exist on this earth? To be more frank, there is no clear consensus estimates of the number of species currently on the existence. Literally, we don't know. We human beings, we don't know how many species are there on the universe. That's the reality. So we need to accept that our knowledge of biodiversity is embryonic. Scientists say that the total number of population, total number of species numbers on this universe, on this earth, could be 3.6 to 111 million species. That was an estimation done by the father of biodiversity, Evo Wilson, in the year 1987. Later, scientists calculated and estimated that there could be 8.7 million species. Okay, that's the total number of species. But literally speaking, we don't know how many are there. We are sending rockets to the space. We are doing so many things, but we need to accept that our knowledge about our own species is embryonic, and then we are not able to estimate them also. Okay, so we have classified all the species into 5 kingdoms. We all know that. The biggest kingdom is Animalia. And then if I ask you the question, what is the percentage of vertebrates and what's the percentage of invertebrates? Can anybody reply to that? You can just type in your answer in the question related. Okay, so the answer is, let me tell you, most of the people say that the vertebrates dominate, but the reality is different. The reality is vertebrates constitute 3% of the total number of animals that we have on this universe. Rest of the 97 species, 97 of all animals are invertebrates. Invertebrates are animals without backbones. Okay, some examples of insects, all insects are invertebrates, right? Apart from insect, we have so many other phylums, starting from phylum Arthropoda, phylum Protozoa until Echinodermata. We have plenty of
Invertebrate.
Yeah, all invertebrates. Yeah, these are all invertebrates, right? So we need to accept our knowledge is very, very embryonic. I'm going to share my slide later with the host. You can get access to it and then go through the presentation. And then we are doing a lot of things, but we have very little to say. We are giving a crude look into the spineless creatures, the small things that run the world, right? So as organisms get smaller, invertebrates are very smaller. As organisms get smaller, our concern for them lessen, right? We are least concerned about it because they are very smaller in size. So our concern for them also moves from positive for their well-being to negative concerns about what ills they might inflict upon us, right? So just because of they are very small, we always think that they are harmful. but literally speaking, many species, more than 80% of the invertebrates are useful to human beings and all the other living things that we have on this earth. Evo Wilson is giving two different situations. He's just, giving two situations. In one situation, he's telling that bring the earth in front of you, right? And remove all the vertebrates from the ecosystem. What will happen? 3 months, 6 months, destabilization of the earth will happen. In over a period of 1 to 1.5 years, the entire earth will collapse. That's because it cannot just sustain because the invertebrates are not there. Period. He's giving another situation. Bring the earth in front of you, right? And then remove all the invertebrates from the universe. From the earth, what will happen? 3 months, that will be slight destabilization, right? And then 6 months, and then in over a period of, sorry, I think I just wrongly mentioned it. In case of vertebrates, after 1 year, the earth will start functioning by itself without any problem. But in case of the invertebrates, the entire earth will collapse after 1 to 1.5 years. That's because invertebrates play a major role. That's why we need to give equal importance to both invertebrates and then as well as and then the vertebrate groups, right? So we have endless source of scientific exploration and naturalist wonder in front of us. So we need to always, try to start looking all invertebrates and vertebrates equally, give equal importance to it. I just remember one thing that happened in my life when I was doing my graduation in my own college, Aditanar College, during 80s. In 80s, my specialization is entomology. So Dr. Muralidharan was my entomology teacher. Every evening or once in a week, he will ask us to go out and collect some species from the campus. We will just go out, collect some specimens from the campus, utilizing the insect net and the killing jar. Nowadays, it is not permitted. Those days, it was allowed. So we'll just bring it, sit with my teacher, Dr. Muralidharan, and then we'll open the MS Money book, General Entomology by MS Money, and then he will sit with us, go through the key, and finally he will explain us all the species name and genus names. I was so happy that my teacher knows everything. Of course, he knows everything, all the species that we had at the campus. But no, we didn't go out of it. We are just doing our work only inside the campus. And then though I was very proud that, we could able to understand the species diversity that we have in the campus, it also gave me a wrong impression that we humans have identified and named all the species. But that is not the reality. It took nearly 10 years for me to just realize that there are many, many more species left in the wild that are yet to be described, right? So it's very important as a zoologist or as a botanist or as a biologist or as an environmentalist or as a generalist, we should keep in mind that there are many, many new species are left in this wild that we need to pay attention. I will just, finish my talk in next 2 minutes. So it's very important. So probably you may ask, I am a graduate, I don't get permission from the forest department to just go to the forest side to do some observation about the wildlife. Now the question is, what is wildlife? Okay, wildlife. Anything that is not domesticated can be defined as a wildlife. If that's the case, if that's the definition, the specimen or the species that you find in your house, which is not domesticated, around your house, in your campus, within your campus, in your kitchen garden, or anywhere outside your house or inside the house, which is not domesticated, can be called as the wildlife, right? So these species are called daily life wildlife. We can call it as daily life wildlife. Can you tell me one example of a daily life wildlife? Spider, right? Of course, mosquito is also wildlife, right? The gecko that you just see on the wall is also a spider. Bats, all kinds of insects that fall inside. The amphibians, the frogs that enter you in your bathroom, right? These are all, daily life wildlife. So what you can do, as a person who is interested in daily life, wildlife, you can just watch them, watch the birds, watch the butterflies, watch the plants, watch any kind of living organism in your compound, and then make a note of it. That's called observation, right? And then second thing that you have to do is document it. Take a photograph or do it some kind of drawing, document it, put the date, everything. And then if you keep on doing it, you have set of data, publish it. So that is what required at this point of time. Observe, document, and publish. So these are the three things. So you can watch ants troops up to the wall to get a dab or a sweet stuff. Every day we just watch it, do an observation of it. So you can also see how many frogs enter your bathroom in a month, how many insects visit your house, how many spiders you have in the corners of your wall. You can observe, document, and publish it. Keep a record of the behavior of a familiar gecko. You can always do it. If you have a gecko or if you have a chameleon in your garden, you can have it. Watch insect visitation in your kitchen garden. Pollination. Pollination is very important. We don't want to just do it. You can do that. So daily life wildlife does not have to be kept. Okay. We can watch them from a distance like a naturalist studying wildlife in the wild within your home itself. That is daily life wildlife. With this, I just want to stop. I would like to just thank all my teachers, Dr. Alfred Mohandas, Dr. Thangamani, Dr. Paramanandam, Dr. Muralidharan, Dr. KS, there are Subramaniam sir, and then there are so many other teachers also who helped me to get interest in this field, because I do remember they took so much effort to introduce the subject to us. So we are all so lucky. Similarly, you are also so lucky to just have such a wonderful teachers with you, and then you should make best use of it. We wish you all a very happy World Environment Day, which is coming tomorrow. So take a decision, and then you are most welcome to just, write to us, write to me also, badaniel@storage.org. If you have any questions, you're most welcome. You can also WhatsApp me at 959770371. I will type in after some time. Don't worry about it. I will give all the information later. With this, I close. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Daniel, sir, for your very, very valuable and thought-provoking speech. Sir, your own suggestion, sir. You try to open the PowerPoint. Suppose before the end of this session, you can project it all the side. You try your best.
Sure. I'll do that.
Because the audience are most eagerly to see your PowerPoint. That's why.
Okay, definitely. I'll try to do it.
And they have given very excellent comments. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay. Now, I call upon next lecture session will be given by Dr. Lakshman. Lakshman, sir. Govind Lakshman, MSc PhD. He has served as, he has studied in the Aditanar College in the year PG, 82 to 84, first batch of MSc. At that time, I have studied BSc, the first BSc. Therefore, I hope that after a long gap, I have got the chance to interact. And then, very recently, few years back, the first batch alumni meet also, they have joined. They were celebrated in our college. And another very, very excellent, Dr. Daniel and Lakshman sir are classmates. In the 82 to 84 batch, they have got with very little facilities, infrastructure, all those things. More than 5 students have got the university ranks. It itself is a credit for them. And another thing, it itself is a right choice to give the special lecture will be given by the eminent speakers. I wholeheartedly congratulate them, all of you. Then Dr. Lakshman sir has rendered 32 years of service at Aditanar College, Tiruchendur, and he has served as head of the department. He has served as head of the department for 15 years. Then he has produced 4 PhD, and his 2 students are about to submit their PhD thesis. He has produced 20 MPhil theses, and international journals he has published, very international and renowned and refereed journals, 25 international journals. Then he has published papers in the national journals, 30. And then he has produced the proceedings, which was published in the ISBN. And he has produced 3 books also. So therefore, such eminent personalities, this is the right choice to speak. In spite of their busy schedule, they have accepted our invitation and they are going to give very, very valuable and thought-provoking lecture. Now, Dr. Govind Lakshman sir is going to deliver the talk on unusual migration of whales. Unusual migration of whales. Now I call upon I call upon the Dr. Lakshman sir. I would like to give few suggestions. The feedback form will be uploaded. Will be just within the half an hour before the end of the session. You have to fill it with those forms and you try to give it on or before within 2 o'clock itself. You will give within 2 o'clock. You have to submit it. Now I call upon Dr. Govind Lakshman sir to deliver a very valuable and thought-provoking lecture on unusual migration of whales. Now the session is going to Lakshman sir. Thank you. Lakshman. For granting permission for the successful conduct of this webinar, and also they have provided all the infrastructure facilities. They have permitted us to use all the accessibility for the available in our ANJAC campus, and also provide the YouTube accessibility also.
Sir,
In this
Govindan,
situation,
sir,
Govindan
Lakshman
sir,
sir, he's
ready.
ready, sir. He's ready, sir.
Ready.
Sir.
So now I call upon Govind Lakshman sir to give a valuable lecture on unusual migration of whales. Okay. Right, sir. You are most welcome.
Please wait. Wait, sir. 1 minute, sir.
Can you see my screen now?
No, sir, no, sir. It's not.
No, not yet, sir. Slide share and my put paranga sir adu. Balaji, Vignesh.
இப்போ ஓபன் ஆச்சு பட் now
திருப்பி ஆயிடுச்சு சார். பாருங்க, டைப் பண்ணுங்க. பாருங்க.
Sir, Daniel sir, it is a nice presentation and a lucid presentation. And I'm having a doubt about the spiders,
Yes.
which is present in the Eastern Ghats.
Yes.
That we are having the brightly colored spiders. In nature, most of the brightly colored animals, mostly they are comes under poisonous. Whether the brightly colored spiders are poisonous or non-poisonous, sir?
In general, there is spiders are not so poisonous. So they mainly use it to just catch the prey. That's all. So most of the spiders are non-poisonous, except few spiders in the American New World are poisonous. Otherwise, it's not so poisonous. But
Okay, sir.
need to be careful with regard to that also, because they can really harm our local. I think.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir Daniel, sir.
Yes.
Tarantula.
Yeah, tarantula.
You tell me something about tarantula. And,
Sure. Yeah. So you can also read the questions if there is any questions from other side. If you can read, I can reply also. Right. So people. There is one problem called arachnophobia, right? Arachnophobia means people are scared of the spiders itself. So they can't even just see them. They cannot even touch, or you can just view them. They will be completely, scared of it. So that's the biggest problem in many of the countries. Many of the countries, especially in the developed countries, there are some programs happening called arachnophobia related programs to just to remove it. So it's all the perception that we have in our mind. So if we can just remove that, then probably that will go.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
yes,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you see my screen? Can you pin my screen, please? At least.
Yeah, your fingers we are seeing.
Yes. Oh, that's what I want. The
Yes.
spiders, when they jump, it will look like this exactly. Just imagine something like this coming from the top, from the height of 7 or 8 feet, and they just landing on the floor itself like this. That's why they are called parachute spiders, right? Parachute spiders. So they will fall, they just come and land on this. The males live only for 2 years, but the females can live for 20 years. In captivity, they just live for more than 20 years also. Males have a limited territory. They move within a small area.
Zoology.
Mostly within the tree and canopy and things like that. Not canopy, within the tree and lower level. But the males, the female will live only for a limited area. The males can wander for about 2 kilometers, right? You can make it very easily, identify the male with the female. They have a small, organ in the front, the first pair of legs, and then they wander, look for its mate, and then the mate, and then they, after 2 years of repeated, after different finding its partner at different times, they die. Right?
Sir, நான் சார் சொல்லிடுவா டேனியல் சார் இன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணிடுவா.
Are very, very, very interesting. In South America also we have the red-knee spider. They are also called bird is literally catch bird of this size.
ஃபோன் பண்ண இன்னும் ரெடி ஆகலையா?
They can just very easily, paralyze
ஆமா,
it.
சார் பேசிட்டு இருக்காரு, இன்டராக்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காரு. என்ன கமெண்ட் சொல்லுங்க.
The eating habit is very, very interesting. We kept,
அத வந்து பாத்து ரெடி ஆயிட்டுன்னு கேட்டேன், இல்லன்ட்டாரு.
we don't have it in India because it's not collect in the wild. You need to get
பாத்து நீங்க போட்டதானே?
They feed small insects like grasshoppers. Even they can just feed on the geckos, our house lizards, right? They breed it for it. Even small mice, white the mouse that we use that can also be just fed for this species. So it's very interesting. So we have this species. I told you 11 species. And then the link between Sri Lanka and India is the Rameswaram Island. And then the same kind of species is also found in Sri Lanka. And then people are just working on a bigger scale. We are trying to include this convention on international trade of for fauna and flora. But we need definitely Sri Lanka has already included these spiders under the CITES. What does CITES help us? CITES will help us to stop international trade. If you really want to just do a trade of the species or take the species from one place to other countries, you need to get the certificate from the international bodies so that it can be just carried or it can be. So a lot of research work is required. Of course, our Indian government is just ready to help with us. We have good collection of specimens in ZSI also. In some of the museums like, British SI and Madras Museum, to go there, you can just see some of the collections of it. After Pocock described the specimen in 1899, and then later there are a few collections, and some collections after his description are deposited there at the Madras Museum also. They may be a different species, maybe that belong to Miranda, but still, some specimens are there. The interesting part of, you can just stop me at any time, or if you have any questions, you can read it also. Do you have any questions from the participants?
You continue, sir. So let them till that you can ask, you can answer their questions, sir.
Sure.
You can continue.
Okay.
You can continue.
Yeah, most welcome. Most welcome. Okay,
Sir, Daniel, sir.
Yes, please.
What about the migratory locust? That is an alarming nowadays. What about your view about the migratory locust, sir?
Oh my God. I'm not an expert in migratory locusts, but I mean, I can just say a few things. You have a lot of, discussions happening with regard to migratory locusts. And
Yes, sir.
Started using as food also in certain countries. Of course, it's a natural phenomenon. It's a natural phenomenon. It has happened before also. And then UN rightly at right time warned Indian government about the problem that we are going to have in the eastern part of India, Gujarat, Rajasthan, and other parts. And we can just say that, of course, there is an influence due to climate change that we can just clearly say. That's a lot of some influences there. Because, it's just spreading in other parts of the other parts where this kind of migratory locust is not reported previously. That could be the influence of the climate change.
Because of the climate change, they are coming here. And
I mean, scientists and the people just say that it may not occur in southern region and Tamil Nadu. And then, of course, this, but
then we are safe in safe zone, sir.
We are on the safe.
Sir, Daniel, sir, we have a question from a viewer, sir, for a participant.
Yes.
So his question is, the name is Dr. JM.
Yes.
His question is whether the spider venom is used for any vaccine preparation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. The spider venom is still on research. People say that this can be used to control heart-related problems, right? So, but still it is not available in the market. There's still this is going on. This is a good goal. It's a good opportunity. We can just take up some research work related to the spider venom of the Poecilotheria also. But we need to take care that the wild species are not collected, right? Maybe you need to find of course, you can breed them. Of course, with the permission of the department, it can be done. Forest department, it can be done, and then research can be taken.
Okay, sir.
Daniel, sir.
Yes, please.
The spider web is most better quality than the silkworm, Bombyx mori silk. But why they are not at all using this spider web for construction? They are using the silk. That is one question. Another question is
Yes.
ballistic behavior also. And will it be possible to use it in the field, in the large scale, to control the insects, all other thing?
Oh, okay. You mean with regard to spiders?
Locusts are predatory in habits.
Okay. Yeah, let me answer the second question first.
Okay,
of
sir.
course, spiders are wonderful biological control agents.
Okay, sir.
Spiders are being used and experimentally it has been proved also.
Yes,
but with regard to these Theraphosids, as I told you, they are highly, their habitat preference is very, very high. They live only in places where they are very selective in the preference of its microhabitat. They live in tree holes. They live in bamboos also. And tree holes, like holes that are found in the found in the trees like tamarind also. So trying to but it's very difficult to cultivate them on a larger scale and use it as a biological control agent. It's a bit difficult. I'm just coming to the second question. Just 1 minute, please. Oh, Lakshmanan.
Questions you can ask. Sir, Daniel, sir. Sir,
Yeah,
Daniel,
please.
sir.
Yeah.
Lakshmanan sir சொல்லுங்க சார். சப்போஸ் அப்படி கூகுள் ஓபன் ஆகலைனா கூட இந்த பவர் பாயிண்ட் தானே சொல்றீங்க. பவர் பாயிண்ட் சாரோட பிரசன்ட் அப்போ ஓபன் ஆயிருச்சு சார். அப்போ ஓபன் ஆயிருச்சு.
செல்ல தான் வந்திருக்கிறேன்.
சரி.
இதுல எப்படி என்னுடைய பிரசன்டேஷனை இது பண்ண?
பிரசன்டேஷன் உங்க அதுல இன்னும் மொபைல்ல மாத்தணும். ஆனா இட் வில் டேக் டைம். அதனால நீங்க வந்து லேப்டாப்ல ஓபன் பண்ணிட்டு நீங்க மொபைல்ல ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணிக்கோங்க, அவ்வளவுதான்.
லேப்டாப் ஓபன் பண்ணி இதுல இருந்து பண்ண முடியாதா? இதுல நான் போட்டு வச்சிருக்கேன்.
அதுல போட்டு வச்சிருக்கீங்களா?
இந்த மெயில் இருக்கு.
மொபைல்ல இருக்குதா?
மொபைல்ல இருக்கு.
மொபைல் இருந்துச்சுன்னா நீங்க
அப்படியே ஸ்கிரீன் போய் கொடுக்கலாமா? ஹலோ,
மொபைல் இருந்துச்சுன்னா எப்படி ஷேர்
பண்ணல? அந்த பவர் பாயிண்ட் ஓபன் பண்ணி வச்சுக்கோங்க சார். அங்க பிரசன்ட் விண்டோன்னு ஒரு பட்டன் ஓபன் பண்ணி வச்சிட்டு
பவர் பாயிண்ட்
பிரசன்ட் விண்டோன்னு ஒரு
you try to finish.
Okay. So this is the spider we are talking about. Okay, the Poecilotheria genus. You can just see the carapace here, right? This place, and then you can just see the beautiful legs, right? So this is the spider we are just talking about, and this is a long shot. This is a Poecilotheria hanuma vilasamica species. This is another view, and this is the close-up. They are beautiful spiders, right? Hairy, very nice. These are the different species, a few species. This is not my slide. I borrowed it somebody by name Ashik. The Formosa, Regalis, Rufilata. See the structure, shape, color difference, striata, and you can just see how they are very close to the. Some of them are captive bred. So this is the tree where the spider live. You can just see a silk web here. You can see the spider on the lower portion of the stem, and then they can feed on insects like gecko also, right? You can just see the spider sitting here too. You can see a snail. This is the kind of micro habitat of the spiders, and this is where this is the spider web. Only this much web will be there. The spiders will be inside it. Very easily they can enter and get out and go inside very easily. So this is the place where I took some photographs. You can see a spider here. Very beautiful spider, right? So this is the species that we found after 100 years, 102 years. And this is the first photograph that we took, that too from the Eastern Ghats. And we used to go and search of the spiders for long distance. This was done, this is in a Rameswaram Island. And then this is a photograph. You can just see a tree here, this tamarind tree. We found a lot of spiders inside this. Lot in the sense, 2 or 3 will be there in the entire tree. And then we need to get the support of the local people. I am just interviewing a fisherman, fisher community people. Literally, they don't know anything about the spider itself. And then this is all about the evolution of the species, and then species extinction. And then extinction is happening on a bigger scale, 1,000 to 10,000 times more than the natural rate of extinction. This is a reason species need conservation attention. So this is all about the IUCN commissions. We are concerned about species survival commission, right? So these are the taxon specialist groups. So we are running the South Asian invertebrate specialist group. We were helping with different species groups. As I told you, we need to slow down the global rate of extinction, identify and document those species most in need of conservation attention, the global extinction rates that are to be reduced. So we need all kind of information like taxonomy, common names, habitat, major threats, trade, map, distribution, occurrence. All these informations are required. So this is IUCN categories and criteria: extinct in the wild, particularly endangered and vulnerable. These 3 are the threatened categories: near threatened, least concerned, data revision, not evaluated. So if you go to IUCNredlist.org, I just show you, and then
Sir, Daniel, sir.
Yes,
Sir, your screen is your face is only seeing, sir.
not
Screen is not seeing. Yes, sir.
Oh my God! Again, some problem.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Now it is released.
Right. I really wonder why it is so. So if you go to IUCNredlist.org, I will just keep it like that so that it will be easy. So all you have to do is go to IUCN Red List. Can you just see now the screen? www.iucnredlist.org, right? Can you see the screen now? Somebody say yes.
Yes. Sir, it's
Great.
getting ready, sir. It's getting ready, sir.
So if you type in Poecilotheria, I'm interested in Hanuma vilasamica, the species name will come, right? So this is Poecilotheria, Hanuma vilasamica, and then you will get
Now the screen visible. Now the screen is visible.
right.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is to download just tap in here, you can download assessment PDF. If you just do the assessment PDF, and then the entire information will be downloaded. Okay, so this is the information. So you will get all the species information. This critically endangered species, these are the people who are assessed. I am also there, PA Daniel. And then hope you can just common name, taxon, all the species information will be available. So you can very easily. I'm going back to the presentation. So this is the Rameswaram Island, right? The species are found here and also close to the area. And as I told you, we have vertebrates and invertebrates. Vertebrates constitute only this much. Rest are invertebrates, right? So this is the problem that we have, the scale of problem, right? The one in yellow is what is known to science. One in green is what not known to science. And then we need to give equal importance to all the species, especially the spineless, the small things that run the world, right? So we just see all the living things like this. Can you see a small ant here, right? But this is how we have to look our animal diversity. Invertebrates are numerically dominated, right? Endless opportunities are there. Best thing is to start looking into the daily life wildlife, and then you have plenty of activities that we can just do it. But primarily you need to observe, document, and publish. So this is my email ID and my phone number. You're most welcome to just write to me in case if you need any assistance, not just with regard to spiders, but with regard to any invertebrate groups. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Daniel, sir, for your valuable speech, for sparing your valuable time for us and give very valuable and thought-provoking lecture.
Okay, thank you. Zoo Outreach Organization. Zoo Outreach is a trust, registered trust, which was started by a person called Sally Walker. Sally Walker is an American. She came to India in 70s, to India to learn Sanskrit and yoga, and later developed some interest in wildlife. While she was just practicing yoga and learning Sanskrit, she got an opportunity to just come to Mysore. And then she visited the Mysore Zoo. Now, Mysore Zoo is one of the best zoos in the world, and India also, right? So, that time when Sally visited Mysore Zoo, it was not so good. And then at that time, Sally was taken around the zoo, and then the then director just gave a newborn, tiger cub in the hands of Sally Walker. She holded it and then just looked around the zoo. It was not so good. And then she was completely attracted by the tiger. And so she wanted to contribute something for the improvement of the zoos. And that's the time she decided to stay in India and do something. So she started the network of zoos of India. And then with the support of the Ministry of Environment and Forest, and she started Zoo Outreach Organization, and then came to Mysore, and then started the Friends of Mysore in the year 1986. That's the time she started Zoo Sprint, also a magazine, which is still a monthly magazine, which is still in publication for the last 34 years. It's completing 35 years by this year. We have two publications. One is Zoo Sprint. The other one is Journal of Threatened Taxa. Journal of Threatened Taxa is a peer-reviewed journal, which is again published monthly. It is both a magazine, both the publications are free of cost. If you are interested, you can just write a mail to zooreach@zooreach.org, and then you will be subscribed. You are most welcome to submit your articles to JOT, as well as JOT is, you have to submit it online. And then you can also submit to the magazine. Any magazine is also peer-reviewed, but people, if you are not, any simple observations can be published in Zoosprint. So you are most welcome. And apart from this, we are running some educator network. By policy, we work on lesser known groups like invertebrates, amphibians, reptiles, bats and mammals, and small mammals. And then we have networks for all these things. We do programs on taxonomy, field techniques, and identification programs. If you are interested, you can take part in it. We do have the assessments also. Yes? Is that ready?
Sir, Daniel, sir, you briefly explain the activities being carried out in your institute, in your research organization.
Yes,
So,
yeah, that's what I
you briefly explain.
Yeah, we mainly we have 5 major components. One is networking with the specialists. I mean, by policy, as I told you, we work on lesser known groups like amphibians, reptiles, small mammals, bats, and rodents. And then we have networks for all these groups. And if you are interested, you can become a member of it. Write a mail to zooreach@zooreach.org, and then we'll be very happy to just entertain it. The second activity is taxonomy hands-on training workshop, where we train interested people to take up research work on taxonomy, field techniques, identification, publication, and report writing and fundraising and different things. Third one is rapid species assessment using the IUCN red list categories and criteria. We assess the red list, all the species. We are the one who are helping the IUCN to assess all the South Asian species. We have assessed right now more than 6,000 species. We have completely assessed the fishes, amphibians, and most of the reptiles of South Asia. And then, of course, now on the process of doing butterflies, spiders, and things like that. Don't think this is a hi-fi work. I mean, anybody can contribute. If you have any information on any kind of species of your interest, you are most welcome to contribute. So the only thing is, if you have the only qualification is interest. So develop some interest on it. The fourth one is publication. Publication, as I already mentioned, the Zoosprint magazine is there, and the Journal of Threatened Taxa is there. And then apart from that, we publish a lot of conservation education materials and supply it free of cost. Because we have changed to soft copies nowadays, all soft copy educations are available, education materials are available with us. If you write to us to zooreach@zooreach.org, we'll be happy to share all the soft copies that you are interested. I think the last one is before I close, the last one is education. Education is also happening. Now, I think Dr. Lakshmanan is ready for his presentation. Now I give the platform to Dr. Lakshmanan. Thank you.
Sir, Lakshman sir, your PowerPoint is ready, sir.
Sir, I would like to my sincere thanks for the principal, the HOD, and the staff members of Aditanar College for giving this wonderful opportunity. Now, let's start our session. Now, I would like to discuss about the unusual migration of whales. I think all of you know the whales. Whales belong to phylum Chordata and class Mammalia and subclass Eutheria. It is a Eutherian mammal. Like man, whale is a social animal, and it is highly intelligent animal also. And the whales are like a man, it is social animal, and they feed their young ones by their own meat. They take externally good care of their young one and teach them life skill. Whales are very unique and beautiful and graceful and mysterious animal. The mysterious means because their migration is wonderful and mysterious. And Tamil it is a Puriyada Pudir. Now the next, the taxonomy of whales belongs to phylum Vertebrata, subphylum Chordata, and class Mammalia, and subclass Eutheria, and order Cetacea. Now the cetacean groups contains males, dolphins, and porpoises. Now there are 90 species are available throughout the world in our ocean. From this, the 14 are baleen whales, and other 76 include the killer whales and dolphins and porpoises. The very interesting character of whales is these whales are warm-blooded and it breathes air. It is in aquatic, but it takes oxygen from air, and they have very powerful lungs. The blood has more affinity of oxygen. Now then, there are two suborders of whales. The first one is baleen whales, and it includes humpback, grey, and blue whales. Instead of teeth, the baleen whales have, baleen means a brush-like a horny material that is called baleen or baleen whale, and the edging the roof of the present in the edging of the roof of the mouth, both upper and lower jaw. Now it acts as a sheath. When it engulfs the large amount of food, the baleen plate acts as a sheath and it filters the food. The water is exhausted and the food entered into the alimentary canal. Now then another second order is toothed whales. It includes sperm and killer whales. These whales are carnivorous. And baleen whales are the planktonovorous. The next one is the biology of whales. The most whales live in social groups. This is called pods, and which consist of many family members and family friends. Whales live in these pods their whole life and talk to each other by making the high pitched sounds. It's a communication. They have a highly developed hearing system, and a female whale gives birth to single calf every 2 to 3 years. Gestation period ranges from 9.5 to 17 months. In 9.5 months from the milky whales, the small whales, their gestation period is only for 9 to 9.5 months. Other whales have 17 months. Now the whales are believed to be extremely intelligent, and our topic is the unusual migration. All of you know the migration. Migration means movement of animals from one place to another place and return back. Now in whales, the unusual migration most whales migrate to, the purpose of whales migration is only the feeding and breeding. Now for feeding, the whales migrate to the cold water because the cold water contains most abundant food factors such as the small planktons and small fishes, etc., etc. So for feeding, whales migrate towards the colder part of the ocean. But for breeding, they migrate towards the warm and shallow water because in cold water the young ones are not tolerate because their blubbers are juvenile stage, and it's not it is very sharp to the blubber, and the young ones are not able to survive in the cold water. So that For breeding, they migrate towards the warm and shallow water. Now in our Indian Ocean, the Gulf of Mannar, the bioreserve, which has a potential of or a numerous interesting marine fauna. From this, the whales and dolphins are very interesting ones. Now next, the why do whales wash up on shore? Yes, normally the migration is normal in process, but our question is why do whales wash on the shore? Now, first factor is changes in tides. The tide changes, it alter the whales. Soorravan. So these are the three important factors for the vast shore of whales. Now, in some cases, whales may end up beached because it has already died. Now, what is causing whales to die? Cetacean stranding, the commonly known as beaching, is a phenomenon by which whales and dolphins strand themselves on land, usually on a beach. Now, in the beached whales often die due to dehydration, collapsing under their own weight, or drowning when high tide covers the blowhole. Now, unusual migration of whales in southeast coast of Tamil Nadu. Now, we have noticed in our area, it belongs to Tiruchendur coast. And the year 2016, January 12, we have noticed many vast shore whales along the Tiruchendur coast from Kallamali to Manapad. Now, from this area, we have noticed that there are 45 dead shot finned pilot whales between Kallamali to Manapad, the Thoothukudi coast. Of these, 37 were adults and 8 were subadults. That means 36 whales survived by the beaching were rescued in a joint operation by several government agencies and the local fishermen. Now then now according to myself, the dehydration of the mucus in the skin of whales might have caused the death of the whales. The whales might have migrated from the ocean to feed on small fishes. Now, the recent heavy rain, that time the 2016, the Tamil Nadu received more heavy rain, which have caused changes in water current in the deep ocean, which is shift the original location of the prey population for whales. So that for searching the prey population, whales move towards the coastal area of the Thoothukudi coast. Then because of the shallow water, they beached on the shore. The beach means many of the whales are died and beached on the Thoothukudi coast. Now these are some pictures. You notice that these are the whales beached on the Manapad coast during 2016 January 12, and these are some local fishermen and myself. We have tried to save the whales because there are 3 methods to save the whales. One is cool the skin, collect as many packets as possible. outside the water, a whale cannot maintain its body temperature and its skin dries out. So it leads to death of the whales. So that we have pour a water on the blowhole, because blowhole is closed because of some debris or sand particles. So we wash the blowhole, and through the blowhole we bored water, because the water prevent the dehydration of the skin of the whales. So it is one of the best method to save the whales. Is first is to cool the skin of the whales and water bored along the blowhole. The next method is we have used choked bags. It's a plastic polythene bags. It's choked bags. These bags are used to cover the whole animal, and the bag is also filled with water. It keeps the blowhole and fins free of any restrictions. Now understand that the purpose of aiding beached whale is to get it back into ocean. To get back into ocean, it might be possible for many people to push a small whale back in the ocean. Or is that the confused whale may resist movement. Now then now another third method is we wait for a tide. Now during that time we made a tick a trench. We made a trench by digging next to the whale if you have equipment. Now then trench can fill with water, with helps keep whale wet. So wait for the tide. When the tide comes in, a whale should be able to slip back into the ocean. Now it is not yet too weak. So these are the three methods we should follow to try the whales from the wound by shallow ocean. Now these are some pictures, photos taken by our students, and now on the during 2016, myself and my students, we are combined with our local fishermen, and we have tried to save the whales from the shallow ocean. Now then we have, on that time we have collected some water samples, some body samples, the tissue samples for some chemical analysis, and we found that because of the burst of internal organs, many whales died. Then we assumed that why the internal organs are burst. When it reaches the shallow water, and we believed that whales engulf more amount of water because of the closing of the blowhole. The water is not filtered by whales, so more amount of water entered into the alimentary canal. Due to heavy water inside the body, the internal organs are maybe burst, and whales then died. Now because you see there's some pictures, the burst. Now then, now some whale migrations are noticed in some pictures. You know that the grey whale migration. Now if you, sir, you know the video you are seeing, sir, are you seeing the video? Yes, sir. Sir, please.
Sir, wait.
Sir, video over there.
Sir, I will play, sir. Wait, sir.
Yeah, we can see the video.
Okay, sir. This is grey whale migration. So they migrate in groups. They migrate in groups. Grey whale is swimming on the ocean, and they migrate towards for feeding. The migration is for feeding. Then the next video is the mass migration. You know the mass migration of whales. Migration in groups. It's mass migration. Then the next one is the jumping and diving of whales. You going to see the jumping and diving of whales. So the next thing, the killer whale. It's a killer whale. This is the largest whale, and you know the jumping of the killer whales. Now this size of the killer whale is equal to the weight of the size of the 34 elephants. The next one is the whale sound. Now you are watching the sound of whales. You are watching the sound of whales. And the next one is the migration of killer whales. You got the teeth of the killer whales. Now it is a toothed whale, and they have homodont condition. All teeth are similar in shape and structure and functions of the same. And these teeth are cone-like structure, and it is powerful. It captures the large fishes, squid, mollusk, and some other marine organisms. It's a killer whale. Now you are going to see the video. The killer whales are also they migrate in groups. You see. Now the next one is the super diving. This is called super diving of whales. It's a rare photographs. The next one, okay, sir. Because of some trouble, so now I want to close my topics. Thank you very much. Now session is open to discussion. Hello, sir. Hello, friends.
Sir, immediate testing.
Sir, சொல்லுங்க sir.
Sir, section over, sir. only. Okay. Sabri, good morning. Due to RS group of companies Brazil, Canada and Nigeria. Zoology degree offers endless career opportunities, and that's why it is one of the most popular courses of after graduation in zoology. Then job opportunities for zoology graduates: zookeeper, forensic experts, clinical business associate, animal rehabilitator, animal caretakers, online tutor, zoo curator, wildlife biologist, research associate, documentary maker, and leading scientists in R&D laboratories in the leading research institutes, research organizations, not only in India but also in abroad. Then jobs for zoology graduates: animal breeders, nutrition specialists, researcher, veterinarian, medical representatives, animal behaviorists, lab technicians, zoologists, conservationists, conservator of forests, all those things. Then museum curator, all those things, it will be this one. Then conservationist. Let us begin with the conservationist. Ecologist, animal and wildlife educators, animal trainers, environmental consultant, field trials officer, biomedical scientist, toxicologists. Some other jobs: marine scientist, physician associate, nature conservation officer, environmental education officer, environmental manager, research scientist, life sciences departments. It will be applicable for not only life sciences but also in most of the leading organizations. R&D divisions are there. Like this, in one of the companies now SOORAVAN is working. Then higher education lecturer. Then zoology related PG courses around the world: applied biology, applied life sciences, applied zoology, applied behavioral biology, then biochemistry, bioengineering, biology, biomedical sciences, biomedical technology, biometry. Then biotechnology, botany, cell biology, ecology, embryology, evolutionary biology, genetics, human biology and biomedicine, human genetics, human physiology, hydrobiology, and industrial biochemistry and industrial biotechnology and agricultural biotechnology, engineering, endocrinology, engineering biotechnology, all those things. I am going to specify very few. Then next, landscape ecology, marine biology, medical biochemistry, medical microbiology, molecular biology, mycology. It deals with fungi. Natural history, neurosciences, parasitology, plant genetics, toxicology, and virology. If you want to achieve greatness, stop asking for permission. Stop asking for permission. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Who you are tomorrow begins with what you do today. This was the proverb given by Tim Fargo. There are two educations. One should teach us how to make a living, and the other how to live. Then great achievements always requires great sacrifice. This was the proverb given by Robin S. Sharma. Okay. Before we are done, I want to, due to the paucity of time, and conclude my speech here itself. Sooravan is most interested to share with their ideas, but due to the paucity of time and as well as the poor network connection, he couldn't get the line from Brazil. Therefore, he has forwarded his email ID sooravant@yahoo.com. sooravant@yahoo.com. This is his email ID. But due to the poor network as well as the unavoidable conditions, he cannot be in a position to join with us, and he asked him to listen. Even then, I am appreciating his interest and inspiration to share with his ideas to all of us. Then, before concluding my speech, I am going to give few proverbs. Hard work, perseverance, impersonation is the secret of success.
Sir, we can conclude the program with a formal vote of thanks, sir.
Zoology, sir, shall I?
Both heads have to permit, ma'am.
Hello, Balaji, sir.
HOD has to permit you, ma'am.
Okay. I'm not hearing Ara, sir.
Sir, good evening, sir. Sir, good evening, sir.
Okay. Now, Dr. Aarti Manju will propose the vote of thanks.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a formal vote of thanks. First, I would like to thank all the participants of your patient listening throughout this session. And you are all the backbone of this webinar and made the success for this webinar. And first of all, I would like to thank our correspondent, sir, for grant the permission for conducting this webinar. Then I'd like to extend my thanks to our beloved principal, Dr. Ashok, for the moral support to conduct this webinar in a smooth manner. And I express my profound thanks to Dr. Daniel, sir, who has elaborately explaining about the tarantula, the spider, and about the red list and the red data book and the threatened species, endangered species and their work, all those things in a lucid manner of presentation. So everybody likes the presentation, way of presentation of Daniel, sir. Thank you so much for your support in this webinar and the way you express the words in this webinar is uploadable and appreciable. Thank you for your support for us, sir. And my express of thanks goes to Dr. LAXMANAN, sir, Professor. The session was very useful about the migratory of whales and different kinds of whales and why they are migrating. All these things you have explained and you have shown in the videos and the photos of your work doing particularly on the whales. Thank you so much, sir. It is a thought-provoking session. And next, my thanks extend to Mr. SOORAVAN. In your absence, you have given the scope for our zoology students and scholars in the worldwide. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your support. And next, I extend my thanks to our UG and PG HODs, Dr. Ramakrishnan sir, Dr. Sevar Kudion sir, and all my colleagues for the constant support throughout this webinar. And my thanks to Venkatesh sir, Assistant Professor from Department for the webinar flow in a grand success, and Balaji sir for your constant support throughout this webinar. Last but not least, my sincere thanks to the participants from various parts from our country and from abroad. Really a great pleasure of having all you in this webinar. Thank you for your patience listening throughout this session. Thank you so much.
Dr. Balaji.
We shall wind up, sir. That's all, sir.
Okay, if you want to give any suggestion or any information to the participants, please.
Balaji, and this feedback from anybody, Balaji. To play the same on or before within 2 o'clock itself today.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So after submitting feedback, participants will receive their certificates to their respective mail.
Yeah. Those participants, please listen. Those who have sent the feedback form only can be
able to receive their certificates in their registered mail, sir.
Sir, one more thing, sir. Balaji
within your
sir.
certificates.
Yes, ma'am.
Balaji sir, நம்ம feedback form வந்து நம்ம எதுல fill பண்ணனும்? நம்ம எப்படி fill பண்ணனும்?
Ma'am, நம்ம பாத்துக்கலாம் ma'am.
Okay sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
It is only for the registered participants only. Madam.
Sir, we can
Okay.
wind up.
No, Balaji. No,
Sir, thank you, sir. We will wind up the session.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for all of us for your patient hearing lecture, and you make use of it in a proper way. Thank you. Wish you good luck.